Hello aspirants, welcome to AQ IAS YouTube channel. This session is another episode of our quick revision series Prelims Atulya. In the last session friends, we discussed about Gupta Empire. And if you haven't watched our erstwhile videos, then you can definitely explore the playlist of Prelims Atulya. In today's session, we'll try to study about Harshvardhana. Harshvardhana rule forms a significant part of the ancient history. And certainly it is important from the prelims perspective too. So we'll try to cover all important aspects of his rule. So let's get started. So after the decline of Gupta Empire, there was this political chaos. We witnessed the political disorder and disunity in North India. But in 7th century AD, in the beginning, Harshvardhana established a large kingdom in North India. And in order to study about Harsha rule, we have some prominent sources. We have Harshacharita, which was written by Bana, and we have the travel accounts of Hiuen Tsang. We have some other literary sources as well, Ratnavali, Nagananda, and Priyadarsika. And we have some archaeological sources as well, which provide the significant information about Harsha rule. Now, the founder of the family of Harsha, it was Pushyabhuti. So Pushyabhutis, remember, they were the feudatories of the Guptas. And the first most important king of Pushyabhuti dynasty was Prabhakarvardhana. Now here you can remember a little story. After Prabhakarvardhana's death, his elder son Rajavardhana came to the throne. But he was an unfortunate ruler. He had to face so many issues. His sister Rajasiri, she married Mukhari ruler Grahavarmana. But unfortunately, Grahavarmana was killed by the ruler of Malava in collaboration with Sasanka. Now Rajavardhana, he was infuriated. He was so angry. So he marched against the king of Malava. But before he could return to his capital, he was murdered by Sasanka. And after his death, Harsha succeeded his brother at Thaneswar. So you can remember this little story. Now Harsha, he became the most powerful ruler of North India. He drove out Sasanka, he defeated him, and he captured Kannauj. And hence, he made Kannauj his new capital. Later, you can remember this part, it is very important. He fought against Pulakeshin II. And we have the evidence, we have E-hole inscription which mentions that Harsha was defeated by Pulakeshin. And in fact, this theory was supported by the accounts of Hiuen Tsang. So this is very important point that Harshvardhana, such a strong ruler, he was defeated by Pulakeshin II. But remember, Harsha established his hold, his mastery over the whole of the North India. Now, let's try to discuss about his religious belief. Now, initially, Harsha was an ardent follower of Lord Shiva. But later, he became Hinayan Buddhist. And after that, he embraced Mahayana Buddhism. So this point you can remember, that initially he was a strong follower of Lord Shiva and later he became Hinayan Buddhist, and after that he embraced Mahayana Buddhism. And he built so many monasteries, he erected thousands of stupas, and remember, he prohibited the use of animal food in his kingdom. Now here you must note about Kannauj assembly. It was organized by Harsha and he invited representatives of all religious sects. Here you can notice the secular element. There were representatives from all religious sects. Why is it significant? Actually, during this assembly, violence broke out. And in fact, Harsha was attacked by some people. So that's why it becomes very important. You must know about it. Then Allahabad Conference. It was one among the conferences which were routinely convened by Harsha once in 5 years. And during this conference, he gave enormous wealth to the members of all religious sects. So this conference shows the generosity he possessed. Now let me put some light on society and economy. Now you must be wondering that we haven't discussed about the administration yet. Well, remember, administration during Harsha rule was organized on the lines of Gupta Empire. So there wasn't much difference. The only unique feature during his administration was that he maintained the public records. So this is the only thing you can memorize. Now let's try to understand the society and economy under Harsha. So there was this Varna system, it was prevalent, fourfold division of the society. And Brahmins, they were still the privileged sections of the society. Now, as far as the situation of women is concerned, the position of women was not satisfactory. And the institution, you can notice this point, that institution of Swamvara had declined during this period. Remarriage of widows was not permitted either. And the practice of sati was also prevalent. Now during Harsha period, the system of dowry had also become common. So you can remember this point. Now as far as the economy is concerned, trade and commerce declined considerably during Harsha's period. And it was evident from the decline of trade centers, less number of coins. So in nutshell, the economy was much lesser than what we had seen during Gupta Empire. Now let's talk about the cultural progress during his rule. Here I would like to emphasize on this brick temple of Lakshmana at Sirpur. This is important from the prelims perspective. You can remember the brick temple of Lakshmana at Sirpur. And here you can remember about copper statue of Buddha as well. So these were built during Harsha's rule. Now we all know that Harsha was a great patron of learning. And his biographer Bana, he adorned his royal court, and we know that he wrote, we discussed earlier that he wrote Harshacharita. And he wrote one more literary work, Kandambari. So you can remember these literary works, and remember that Harsha himself authored 3 plays, Ratnavali, Priyadarsika and Nagananda. Now here I have included little information about Nalanda University. Although we discussed a little bit about Nalanda University during Gupta Empire, but I would like to provide a little more information. Why? Because recent archaeological excavations have brought to light the ruins of Nalanda University. So Nalanda University remains in the news. So we know that it was founded by Kumaragupta, but remember, it was patronized by Harsha as well. In fact, it attained the status of international institution during Harsha rule. Though it was a Mahayana university, but different religious subjects were also taught, like Vedas, Sankhya philosophy, Yoga philosophy. So you can go through the content that we have provided. You can revise for the upcoming prelims. And if you have any suggestions, you can mention in the comment section. And if you have liked our initiative, then you can subscribe our YouTube channel. You can follow our social media platforms for daily current affairs content. So I'm done for the today. I'll see you in the next session. Thank you. Bye-bye.